The British monarchy holds many secrets, but the story of three royal brooches surpasses all expectations. From Cullinan to Williamson, each piece reflects an entire era in the empire's development. These treasures worth £83 million sterling serve not merely as symbols of power, but as instruments of the highest diplomatic art. Behind each brooch lie decisions that change the course of history. How did jewelry influence international relations? Why could choosing a specific brooch determine the fate of entire nations? What role did these treasures play in shaping the modern image of the British crown? The true story of these ornaments proves far more complex than commonly believed. Before we begin, please share your city in the comments. We're curious where royal luxury enthusiasts live. If you give us a like and subscribe, that would be the best reward for our small channel. The story began over 150 years ago with one ornament that could have purchased 10 steel mills. Imagine a brooch worth £50 million sterling, a sum capable of transforming a small country's economy. This is the story of Elizabeth II and her incredible brooch collection, which became the British Empire's true diplomatic weapon. More than 100 ornaments rested in the royal jewelry box, but three surpassed all imagination. Each brooch told its own story of love, betrayal, ambition, and power. The Queen used these treasures not simply as ornaments, but as a secret language of international diplomacy. Choosing a brooch for an important meeting could signal approval or disapproval, respect or contempt. The most expensive was born from the tragedy of history's largest diamond. A stone weighing 3,106 carats was broken into pieces, and its fate changed several generations of the royal family's lives. It all began with a woman who grew up in poverty but became owner of countless treasures. Alexandra of Denmark received this cursed gift from the Transvaal colony government, never suspecting what chain of events it would unleash. Cullinan, that's what they called this monster among diamonds, 3,106 carats of pure carbon, the size of a human fist. When geologists first saw it in South African mines in 1905, they couldn't believe their eyes. This wasn't just a stone, it was nature's miracle, created over millions of years under unimaginable pressure. King Edward VII and his wife Queen Alexandra received this gift from the Transvaal government as a symbol of loyalty. But what to do with such a giant? The stone was too large for any jewelry, too precious to leave untouched. Alexandra of Denmark knew beauty's price. This woman grew up in a poor prince's family, sustained by military wages. Childhood without luxury taught her to value every precious stone. When fate made her father Danish King Christian IX, his daughter's marriage market value soared to the heavens. Then something interesting happened. Alexandra and her younger sister Dagmar made matches they never dared dream of. Alexandra became England's queen, while Dagmar, under the name Maria Fyodorovna, became Russian empress. Two sisters from a poor family suddenly gained access to two great empires' treasure vaults. Both women seemed to compensate for their deprived childhood. They collected jewels with insatiable passion, each ornament symbolizing triumph over past want. But the real turning point came later when Alexandra decided to entrust Cullinan's fate to Europe's finest gem cutter. Joseph Asher was a legend of European jewelry industry. When they brought Cullinan to his Amsterdam workshop, the master understood. Before him lay a task that could either immortalize him or destroy his reputation with one wrong strike. Asher studied the diamond for several months, like a surgeon before the most complex operation. The stone needed splitting to yield maximum quality brilliance. One mistake would turn the priceless treasure into worthless fragments. Legend says when Asher finally struck the first blow, tension was so great that the master fainted right in his workshop. But fate prepared another surprise. Upon awakening, the jeweler discovered his strike was precise. Cullinan split exactly as planned. Asher continued working, creating the world's two largest brilliants and 7 smaller stones. Each received the name Cullinan with a number, 1st through 9th. Documents reveal an unexpected turn. The stones didn't remain in the royal family's personal collection. They were used to create coronation regalia and ornaments. Cullinan I adorned the royal scepter. Cullinan II graced the British Empire's crown. But the third and sixth stones awaited special fate. Here appears our story's new heroine, a woman whose reputation made courtiers hide their jewelry. Mary of Teck, Queen Alexandra's daughter-in-law, possessed not only exquisite taste but specific habits regarding others' precious stones. Mary of Teck suffered from what modern psychologists would call kleptomania, but only concerning jewels. King George V's wife could calmly slip an appealing stranger's ornament into her handbag while no one watched. Knowing this royal peculiarity, courtiers carefully hid their finest brooches and necklaces when Mary visited. But that's not all. Despite her quirks, Mary possessed impeccable taste and intuitive understanding of precious stones. She seemed to sense their potential, seeing beauty where others noticed only old-fashioned settings. During her reign years, she commissioned numerous luxurious modern-style ornaments and boldly redesigned historical royal collection treasures. In 1910, the government presented Mary with a special gift, 2 Cullinan fragments, the third and sixth largest. The Queen immediately understood these would make a perfect brooch. The stones had ideal proportions, large enough to impress, but not so enormous as to appear vulgar. The next owner changed the ornament's destiny forever. The famous Carrington and Company jewelry firm created a masterpiece for Mary in 1911. The craftsman chose platinum setting, a metal just coming into fashion but already surpassing gold in price. Platinum was the ideal choice. This metal proved stronger than gold and could support 2 giant brilliants' weight. The ornament became monumental, a true monument to jewelry art worth £50 million by modern estimates. Elizabeth II inherited the Cullinan brooch from her grandmother in 1953, but the ornament never became her favorite. The young queen preferred elegant, light brooches rather than these 2 giant brilliants that weighed like small stones. She wore them only at the most solemn events, when protocol demanded demonstrating the British crown's full might. Now, the truth about the collection's second treasure, the Williamson brooch, tells a completely different story about nature's rarest miracle and a queen's wisdom in making the right decision. John Williamson was a lone geologist searching for diamonds in Tanzania's harsh lands. In the mid-20th century, he discovered a stone that made his heart race faster. A pink brilliant weighing over 54 carats. Such finds don't happen twice in a lifetime. Records from that time show Williamson's incredible generosity. The geologist decided to gift this unique stone to Elizabeth for her wedding in 1947. After cutting, weight decreased by half, but beauty only intensified. The pink brilliant sparkled with every facet of perfection. The most important lay ahead. Initially, Elizabeth planned including the stone in her personal tiara, but Cartier jewelers convinced her to abandon this idea. Among other brilliance, the pink beauty might get lost, lose its uniqueness. And here we approach the main point, the decision that created one of history's most elegant brooches. In 1953, Cartier masters created an artwork worthy of the Queen herself. They chose the narcissus flower form, symbol of spring and renewal, perfectly suited for a young monarch who should revive the British Empire's greatness after war. The Williamson pink brilliant became this flower's heart, surrounded by 203 colorless brilliants playing the role of petals. Photographs captured an important moment. Elizabeth wore the Williamson brooch to Prince Charles and Diana's wedding. The choice was symbolic. The pink stone embodied love and new beginnings, while the brooch itself reminded that even the most beautiful gifts require wisdom in use. Unlike the heavy Cullinan brooch, the elegant narcissus became the Queen's constant companion at the most important state events. But the real turning point came later when history returned to its romantic origins. The royal collection's third jewel tells a love that survived passing itself. Prince Albert's brooch proves that sometimes the most expensive ornaments are measured not in carats, but in feeling's depth. Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha was Queen Victoria's cousin, a family connection the Anglican Church considered quite acceptable for marriage. Their mutual uncle, Belgian King Leopold I, suggested his nephew try his luck with his English cousin. Albert harbored no special illusions. Competition for the ruling queen's hand was too great. He didn't yet know that Victoria saw in him not just a match, but a kindred soul. According to monarchical tradition, the queen herself had proposed, and she didn't hesitate for a second. Albert was stunned by such a turn of fate and immediately commissioned a gift for his bride that should express all his feelings' depth. Jewelers created a brooch for the prince centered with an oval sapphire weighing 40 carats. The stone possessed that rare, deep blue color found only in the finest specimens from Kashmir or Ceylon. 12 brilliants totaling 12 carats surrounded the sapphire, creating perfect harmony of blue and white, colors of royal power and purity. Victoria wore Albert's brooch at her wedding on June 20th, 1839, and from that moment this ornament became an inseparable part of her life. The queen understood each element's symbolic meaning. Sapphire embodied loyalty and wisdom. Brilliance represented pure intentions, while platinum's setting symbolized union's strength that should last forever. But fate prepared a test that would check this bond's strength. Prince Albert left this world in December 1861 at only 42 years old. For Victoria, this became a universal catastrophe. The woman who ruled history's greatest empire found herself defenseless before personal tragedy. Then something amazing happened. The queen, who previously adored fashion and luxurious attire, completely changed her lifestyle. 40 years of rule after Albert's passing, she wore exclusively black dresses of one style, refused bright ornaments and elaborate ceremonies. Victoria transformed the royal court into a place of perpetual mourning. However, Albert's brooch became an exception to this ascetic rule. The queen wore it constantly like a talisman connecting her to her departed husband. The blue sapphire reminded of their feelings' depth, while brilliance recalled those happy years when they ruled the empire together and raised 9 children. Documents testify to an unexpected shift in this ornament's perception. For subjects, Albert's brooch became a symbol of monarchy's permanence, proof that even royal hearts are capable of deep human experiences. Victoria transformed personal tragedy into a state symbol of eternal love. Decades later, the situation changed dramatically. When Elizabeth II inherited the brooch, she returned its original meaning. The ornament again became a symbol of joy, not sorrow. The young queen especially loved wearing the blue sapphire brooch with appropriately colored outfits, understanding that blue was royal power's historical color. Now we approach the main discovery. Modern experts value Albert's brooch at £8 million sterling, but its true worth is immeasurably higher. This ornament embodies British monarchy's continuity, the connection between ruler generations and human feeling's enduring strength. What really happened to Elizabeth II's 3 greatest brooches? Their combined value exceeds £83 million sterling, a sum comparable to a small state's annual budget. The Cullinan brooch at $50 million, the Williamson brooch at $25 million, and Albert's brooch at $8 million create a collection without world parallel. But the real treasure lies not in money, but in history. Each brooch tells of different human nature facets. The Cullinan brooch of empire's scale and grandeur, the Williamson brooch of generosity and wisdom, Albert's brooch of love that conquers time. Royal Archive photographs show how Elizabeth used these ornaments for diplomatic purposes. Meeting Commonwealth heads of state, she wore the Cullinan brooch, demonstrating British crown might. Meeting young politicians, she chose the elegant Williamson brooch, emphasizing readiness for change. She reserved Albert's brooch for family celebrations and state holidays connected to historical traditions. Court protocol records testify that brooch choice was never accidental. Each ornament carried a diplomatic message understood by royal etiquette experts. Elizabeth transformed her collection into a soft power instrument capable of expressing what couldn't be said in words. Now, the truth about these treasures' legacy. After Elizabeth II's passing, the brooches remained in the royal collection, but their symbolic meaning changed. They transformed from working diplomatic instruments into museum exhibits, preserving memory of the greatest British history era. Modern jewelers claim creating similar ornaments today would be practically impossible, not only because of materials' astronomical cost, but because that special craftsmanship possessed by past jewelers has disappeared. Elizabeth's brooches are the last witnesses of an era when precious stones were created not for investment, but for eternity. Let's examine facts from historical perspective. 3 brooches embody an entire jewelry art development era. From Albert's brooches' Victorian romanticism through Cullinan's Edwardian magnificence to Williamson's modernist elegance. Each represents its period, aesthetic ideals, and technological possibilities. These ornaments' history also reflects social changes in British society. The Victorian era, with its family values cult, produced Albert's brooch. Early 20th century imperial ambitions embodied themselves in the grandiose Cullinan brooch. Post-war renewal aspirations found expression in the elegant Williamson brooch. The next owner of these treasures will likely bring her own understanding of monarchical traditions to their use. But the brooch's basic function will remain unchanged. They will serve as a connecting link between past, present, and future of the British crown. So what's the real story of these ornaments? They prove that true luxury is measured not by money, but by the ability to preserve and transmit cultural memory. Each brooch is a time capsule containing an entire era's spirit. In the final revelation, these 3 brooches changed the very understanding of what royal ornaments should be. They showed that jewels can be not simply wealth symbols, but communication instruments, artworks, and historical memory keepers. The story began with a broken diamond and ended with creating a new tradition. A tradition where each ornament tells its unique story of human passions, political ambitions, and artistic achievements. Elizabeth II's brooches will forever remain testimony that even in an age of technology and pragmatism, beauty retains its magical power. The truth proved far more exquisite, no scandals or dark secrets, only a magnificent story of human craftsmanship and royal traditions. 3 brooches truly symbolize 3 eras, but their genuine value lies in how they reflect British monarchy evolution and jewelry art. Isn't it amazing that simple ornaments can tell an empire's entire history? If you're captivated by such royal chronicles, give this video a like. Subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new stories about world dynasties' treasures. And be sure to turn on notifications. Even more fascinating royal collection stories await us ahead. See you in future episodes. When